Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. This one is a flip through and it's for part one of my Seattle album. So here you can see the opening page. I just used a 4x8 pocket card I had, did some stamping, I did some outlining here, put in my dates, and that's it. I wanted to keep it pretty simple. And on this side, I'm just telling why we chose to go and that we flew out and took the train back. Again, I had a 4x8 card and I just wanted something simple on it to start out the trip, so I think this worked pretty well. And then we flew out there. So here we are waiting on our plane that you can see there. We flew Delta, and I just threw this on there for a little something extra just to bring in more of the pink because I liked it here for the sunset, and then it was on the card for Up in the Clouds. And we had an evening flight, so here we are arriving. It was already dark, but luckily where we were going, we could pretty much get there almost directly from just taking the train. So you can see us here picking up the light rail at the airport. And then this was our view once we got close to where we were staying. You could see the Space Needle already lit up. And I had a card. I have a couple of sets there from the Pacific Northwest. Some are specific to Seattle, some are specific to Portland, but there are cards in both that are more generic, and this is one of them. So I decided just to use this one that said Pacific Northwest. And then over here is our Airbnb, so you could see the inside of it. We kind of had a hard time finding one that was within our price range. Seattle's expensive, and this one did the trick. It was technically a loft apartment, so fairly small, but for just the two of us, it was fine. And really, we were out and about so much, we didn't spend a ton of time in there, which is generally the case when I travel, so it suited our needs just fine. So on this side, I actually have a digital layout that I created in Canva, and I have a couple of these throughout, not a lot. It wasn't my intention to do that. It just worked out better for some of these. So here's the first one. So I just dropped in that little symbol. I put the picture in the background and did some journaling. All this really needed was just my little tag there where I stamped, because I had this already as part of the design. I didn't have to do much, which is one of the nice things about Canva. So I just slapped on the label, used my Airbnb stamp, and I was good to go. And then this was our first full day then, because we came in so late. We wanted to just wake up and be able to hit the ground running. So this was our first full day, and you can see the area where we were staying here. We were quite close to the Space Needle, which was fun. And then I talked about the fact that we were very close to the monorail track and pretty much had to pass it anytime we were coming and going from the apartment, because whether we were walking up to Seattle Center, which had a bunch of stuff there, we would pass it, or if we were like picking up the bus, or we even did ride the monorail a couple of times, so we were constantly passing the track. And we decided to try breakfast at this little Parisian place that we saw on the map near our Airbnb, and of course it was fabulous. So here's the inside, and I tried to go very French themed. So I have a croissant right there. It was a purple sticker that I had, and then I had the Eiffel Tower, same set. So those all matched. Did a little metallic ink splattering there to kind of bring in the brown tones. And then here I had a stamp that said Bon Appetit. I have a couple of sets that are French from both France and Quebec, so I was able to use those. And then this one has a photo flip. So you can see on the inside, these were some of the lovely items that were in the case. And then we each got iced coffee as well. So when we were done with that, we were close to the monorail, so we decided, okay, we're going to take that down, and then we'll go from there as to how we were getting to the aquarium. So we actually did a lot of walking, because where the monorail drops is not, it's not like it's right down the street from the aquarium. But we decided, you know what, it's early in the morning, we're awake, we want to be outside and just enjoy the weather, we're going to walk. And so we did that quite a bit once we were off the monorail. And we did get ourselves down to the aquarium. Now, I will say, I have been here twice before. So for me, I didn't need to see every little thing that they had going. But my daughter did want to see, get as much of the full experience as possible. But you'll notice I don't have a ton of pictures from the aquarium, and it's because I have been there quite a few times. So on this page, I've got some basic photos, but I did do a photo flip here. So I want to be able to lift that up and show you the inside. And then I had this card. This is not a color that I use a ton. It's kind of a corally orange color, but it worked really well here with what I had. So I thought, all right, if I have it, I'm going to use it. All I had to do really was put on a little rhinestone at the top for the tag part, do a little ink splattering that's metallic green to match with this stuff, and write in the location. That's it. So it made it super simple. And these are actually from a set of stickers I got at the dollar store. So if you're ever near one and you think, I wonder if they have crafty stuff, they do. Go in and look because you might find something fun. For the back side here, I just had this one photo that I need something to match with it. So I made my own. I just used some stickers I had, and that's the entire card. It was super easy. And then these as well, on these 4x4s, I wanted him to be the focus because he was just having so much fun with this toy. And so that's why I chose this label, and then I just use a puffy sticker asterisk just to draw attention to it. That's all I really had to do there. So there were several really simple layouts in a row, and I am totally okay with that. And then when we're done, there's a really nice walkway that you can do outside. It's still part of the aquarium, but you can go outside and just look out at the bay. And it was so beautiful that day. So we did that. And then there was this monster seagull. It's hard to tell perspective and proportion in this photo, but that guy was huge, like one of the biggest seagulls I've ever seen in my life. So we were kind of watching him for a while, and I got him in a picture, and then I just happened to get lucky that there was a ship in the background, and I just got some really good photos right there at the bay. And then when we were done, we needed to get some food before it was time for our cruise, because we knew like once we're on it, that's at least an hour, 2.5 by the time you board, do the cruise, get off again, and go to your next thing. So we wanted to get a light lunch, which we did. And luckily there was something right down on the piers that we could grab. So that worked out well. And all I did here was I fussy cut this from the photo I took. There was a lot of dead space other than the sign. And I thought, oh, I've got this nice green background on the card. I could just fussy cut that and use it this way. And I don't do that a lot, but I really like the way it turned out for this one. And then here, because there was black printing on there, I decided, okay, I'm just going to stamp a nice phrase that will look good over the busyness of this photo. And I think that turned out well. So then we were getting in line and then on the cruise. And so I just talked a little bit about what we did and then boarding the boat for the cruise. So we have that. And then here is just a view from the pier area when you're leaving. You can zoom in and get a quite close-up shot of the Space Needle if you would like. So I decided to do that since that's quintessential Seattle. And then on this side, this is after we had pulled out of the pier area a little further into the bay, and the skyline was looking beautiful. So I took a picture of that. And then I just did this as just some different visual interest. I didn't have like enough photos for a full layout, where I could have put both of these on one side, but then the other side would have been empty. So I thought this was a good solution to just do it outside of a page protector. And here we have just a business card from one of the places we shopped before we boarded our cruise. And I used the leftover paper from here so these would match. And then on this side, I have our ticket. And at first I was like, oh, I'm kind of mad that they scribble on it to show like you've checked in. But it worked out okay. It's red, and there was a little bit of darker red in this photo. So I thought, you know what, maybe it's not all bad. And then for this one, this layout I also did in Canva. I just dropped in the picture, and then it is already shaped this way with the curves. So it turned out nicely. And then I had this big empty space on the water. And at first I thought, oh, I'm going to pick out a larger embellishment and put it on there. But I really didn't find anything that I liked that was either the right size or had the right phrase. I just couldn't find anything. So I thought, okay, I have this larger stamp from my Pacific Northwest set. I'll use it. So I used that one, and then I added a smaller one underneath. So I like the contrast of the big letters here and then a smaller phrase in a different font. And then for this one, I also did this in Canva, so all I had to do was drop in these photos. I did manipulate the sizes a little bit. I think they were equal when I started. That didn't necessarily work well, for the photos I had, so I adjusted the boxes to have it like this. And then in the middle, I just dropped in some digital paper that I had, or actually I think this one's part of a digital card. I just sized it down, and I used some stickers that I had to go with the theme, and I think that worked out well. On this side, again, I didn't want to have to use a whole page protector, so I just did an out-of-the-pocket insert. I used my Hello Seattle card here on one side, and then I had a picture of Pike Place Market from the other. Just put on the phrase, and that's it. And I love that this kind of just sits in the middle and is easy to flip over, and it didn't take up a whole page protector. And then on this side, this is when we were actually at Pike Place. And again, I have also been here quite a bit. This was my third visit to Pike Place Market. So once again, I didn't need to look at every single thing, but I didn't want to rush. I wanted my daughter to have time to look. And I always love their flowers. So I figured, okay, I'll spend some time just like shooting the different flower arrangements they have. And it did not disappoint. They were all just so stunning. And had I lived there, I probably would have been tempted to buy one of those and take them home. But since we were on vacation, not really smart. So I just took the pictures and was happy with that. And we have some more just random photos around, and I did use some sparkly gold stickers to do the title for Pike Place because this is kind of gold bronze looking. So I thought, why not give it a little sparkle? So that was an easy layout on that side. And then here I just wanted to show some of the market items. I did actually end up buying some fresh fruit at the market to take back to our Airbnb, and that's always a fun experience. But because these were so busy, all I had to do was just add this phrase, and that was enough for that layout. So after that, we went back to our Airbnb, dropped all of our bags because we had been shopping. So we had quite a few things. So we dropped those off, and then we went to this bookstore, which is in Capitol Hill. So it's kind of a ways away from most of the other touristy type things. It's more in a neighborhood, but we did find it. We took the bus part of the way, so we went and found that, and we got to pet most of the kitties that were in residence. I loved this one. This one wasn't overly happy about people petting her, but look at that. I mean, how photogenic. Beautiful, beautiful markings. And I had this sticker, and I can't remember if I bought it there. I think maybe I did. Maybe they had these for sale there. But I thought, well, that's perfect. So I wanted to get that. And then I just put on some little chipboard phrases. I've had a set of those forever, and I don't use them. And they happen to be sitting on my desk after some organizing. And I thought, okay, there's a reminder that I need to use some of those. And by the time we left the bookstore, it was fairly late. It was dark. We were very hungry and tired. We did a lot of walking that day. So we decided to just grab pizza at this place that was just a few blocks from the Airbnb. And then so we actually got pizza and salad, and it was delicious. We ended up having a little bit of leftovers that we could eat the next day, which is always good. And then I just wrote about that experience, and then we decided, you know what, we just want to have a movie on while we relax and eat our dinner. And we were able to stream How to Train Your Dragon 2, which is my favorite of that series. And so we watched that, just relaxed, ate our food. I did a little work, wrote in my journal, and then it was time for bed. So that's the end of that day. We start a new day after that, and I have a bunch of stuff dropped in. We'll see if I actually stick with what I've got planned for the second half. I often don't. It often gets rearranged. But at least now I have part 1 done, and hopefully you enjoyed seeing how it's coming together, and come back for part 2. Thanks for watching.